Hello, Oasis. I am that one guy for never from the Omatakaya tribe, bringing you something a little different. We're going to do a mini video session here for taming traps. I want to show our love and affection for all of you. So, we have noticed that in our tutoring section that a number of players have requested some different tutorials on how to trap dinos. Now, many of you have been playing Ark for a really long time, and this comes as second nature, but for the newer players, this isn't quite as intuitive. And I will say, you can tame dinos out in the wild, that's entirely possible, you can do that. But I feel that many players would agree that as you play this game, you will find that trapping your dinos just makes the entire experience so much easier and more predictable. You won't be wasting as many supplies because you'll be applying your torpor effect evenly, and in general it's safer too. So it's just a better way to do it in my opinion. So today we are going to be starting with land dinos. And the way I'm going to do this, we are going to work our way up in size of dinos. So we are going to be starting with small land dinos, work our way up to medium land dinos, then we'll be doing some larger dinos, and lastly I will finish off this video with the largest land dino that I would trap, and that is your gigas, which is a little bit of a special case. So guys, over here you are going to see the first trap that I recommend. Now there are some modifications you can do to this. It's very simple. This is a 2x2. I recommend this trap on flat terrain where possible. So to build this trap, very simply, you're going to use fence foundations and just snap them together into a square configuration. I won't put it all together for you guys, but I just want to show you how these snap. They are a little bit of a wonky piece, so do play with them, but you do want them to snap. That way you are getting the correct shape. There's no gaps. It's not getting through. Come on, Ark, work with me here. Okay, so that's your base, guys. Now, I am going to first start with a medium-sized dino because I already have this trap up, and I will show you how to modify this trap for a smaller dino. Now, what I do, I like to snap a pillar right in front of that. The way you can do that is like such. Give myself a pillar here, guys. So pillars will snap to these. Snap there, and then you can snap right there. And that will put it in the correct position. That is about a half a snap away from what will end up being your taming pen walls. So from there, you can put on a ceiling and a ramp. What this will allow you to do is to aggro your creature. It will fall in here, and you will have a very, very easy time of this. Now, just so you guys know, traps do need to be modified depending on what dino it is you are taming. This is not a one-size-fits-all, so do please expect to have to modify a little. But let me show you a very common early game tame that you might be going for. Let me spawn this in here for you guys. Alright, so an early tame that you might go after would be something around this size. I'm going to Triceratops for you. Now, just like this guy, they're going to often be out of position. You're not going to be ideally where you want them to be. So get their aggro. He's unhappy with me, folks. He's unhappy. So, aggro them as best as possible back to this trap. Here we go. Good, good, good. And just like that, he's in. So, great thing is, this particular dino, the size of him, he is incapable of getting out of this trap. You now have an extremely easy time of taming him. You could go from up top if you'd like to. You can go back from over here. You can shoot in these door frames, which was the reason for the design. Now, folks, let me show you how to adapt this trap for something a little bit smaller. There are going to be some dinos that are small enough where they would walk right through these doors. So let's move to that. Okay, folks, you're going to see here a little modification I made to that same trap. So for very small dinos, I would recommend that you change the door frame to a wall on the bottom. That way that the dino cannot run out. Now, it's not going to be too often that you're going to be penning up something that small. A good example of something that you might do is an Oviraptor. I already put him in the pen here. Let's see if I can get this guy out possibly. So Oviraptors are passive. They will flee when you get close to them or attack them. So what's nice is if you take this guy back to base and you just have a pen set up, you can just drop him right in. And now he can't get out. And all you would do here is just go up on top of the ramp and just start firing into him. He can't escape. So that would be the modification for something small like that. Alright guys, moving on to something a little bit bigger. So let's talk about dinos roughly the size of Rexes, Spinos, Allosauruses. Now you're going to have to modify this trap slightly based off of the dino you are trying to tame. But the base design is simply this. 3 stone gates. And yes, please use stone. For the base design, I would use gates because things like Allosaurus sizes can walk through open gates. Now, if you get something as big as, say, a Rex, the gates are not needed, just the gate frames. But for our purposes here, I will be using the gates, just so you can see the design. Now, something that's very important to make this go smoothly. You want to make a large bear trap. Place it pretty close to the far gate here. Basically, what we're going to be doing is we will aggro a dino into here. This trap will pin it for about 3 to 5 seconds. That will give us enough time to go around back and place another gate that we will quickly pin it in so that it cannot escape. So let me show you guys how this would work. Let me get here onto my dino. Guys. So again, you know, these dinos may not be in perfect position, so you're going to have to kind of play around with them to get them to aggro. I would recommend a flyer if possible. That will make this so much easier for you, so you can actually not get yourself trapped in there with the dino. Some health is recommended. I usually let the dino munch on me a bit. That way I'm constantly getting aggro. And then just fly up. You hear that sound right there? Oh, it hasn't happened just yet. There we go. Got a little damage number. Heard the clinking sound. That means the trap activated. We're going to get right behind this guy. Got to be a little quick here, guys. Put the gate frame. There we go. It is in there. It is not getting out. Now, it is best to always do your traps on flat terrain. If this was extremely hilly, there is a chance that the Rex could walk over this. Now, on flat ground, there's no chance at all. This is a really great position. Now, there's some different things you could do here. There are some gaps. You can definitely shoot it between there. You see, though, the gaps can be a little buggy. You can definitely shoot that way. Sometimes what I like to do, if you're a bit of a high roller, you could actually build yourself up a little pillar platform here. And give yourself some ceilings. You're going to want to make the ceilings a little bit big of an area for your flyer. You could put the ladders up there, but personally, since we're already using a flyer, I would just go up here. Be careful about where you park. You're always going to jump to the bottom right as long as you're not overweight. Like that. And from up here, whoop! I fell. We're going to go back up. But from up there, very safe time, guys. It's a very safe time. That is how I recommend to get something of this size. Now, I'm going to show you a modification of this just momentarily. Alright, guys. Here is the modification I spoke of. So, a dino that is a little unique is going to be the Spino. They are much longer than Rexes, and actually, they are a little taller, too. So the modification to this trap is instead of having 1 by 1 by 1, we are going to make this 2 long. Now make sure you give yourself a little extra gap here on the width. Spinos are kind of fat. But definitely still have this trap. You're going to want to put a trap down. And for those of you who are not familiar with traps, when you first place it, it is going to take about 10 to 15 seconds for it to actually open up. And only when it is open will it trap a dino. So let's get a Spino over here. Now these guys have a very, very bad turn radius. So I'm going to go a little further. Wow, teal, I love it. Alright. Our little guy here. He's not happy, folks. He's not happy. So you just do what I just did, but flying. And there it goes. The trap just activated. You would just get in behind. Again, be a little quick about this, guys. Put the gate. Spinos do not require gate frames either. They cannot walk through an open gate. Now, as you can see, they are a little wonky. You can see how it is kind of like jumping all over the place. Of all the dinos for this type of trap, Spinos, you definitely want to put this trap on flat terrain. If it is sloped, I have had Spinos get out. If it's flat, I have never once had it get out with proper execution. Now, they also have a little, as you can see, it just hit the snow owl. It has a little longer range on its attack, too. This is a little dangerously close to be taming this guy. I would go back one further foundation. You can get a little height if you need to for that. Or, if the ground is safe enough, just get on the ground and you could tame it right here. So, folks, we're going to be moving on to our biggest threat here next. Alright, guys, the last trap I have for you today is a modification of the Rex and Spino trap. This is for the Giga. So, I would make your trap this long, the same way we did for the Spino. Gigas are bigger than Rexes. They are bigger. You must make this trap out of metal. If you make it out of stone, you're gonna have a bad time. Gigas can damage stone. Gonna have this bear trap again. This is very important. Without this, I can promise you, you will not trap this Giga. So, this is by far the most dangerous one to trap, folks. But if you're gonna be taming a Giga, this is how I have always done it. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna get myself into position for this one. Now, I'm gonna try to spawn this Giga a little further away. I will say this, folks. Gigas have a very odd aggro. They lose aggro relatively quickly, and if anything else comes across their path, whether or not you are attacking it, they can lose aggro very quickly. So it is a finicky thing. The other thing that's going to be rather dangerous about this, guys, is Gigas do a lot of damage. Now, their attack will hit you for most likely thousands, but it's the bleed effect that they apply that makes this extremely dangerous. So it will apply a bleed effect that will do 1% damage per tick, and this can stack multiple times. This is why no matter what dino you bring up against a Giga, more than likely on a one-on-one battle, there is no winning this. So we're going to have to let our bird take some damage to best aggro it back to this pen. I have found that letting the Giga get a few hits in is worth it because it will not lose aggro as easily. That being said, you will see here, my Snow Owl has 40,000 health. If you screw this up, bring backup dinos because you do not want your tames dying during this. Alright guys, let's get into this now. Just getting the spawn ready, guys. Only wanted to do this once if possible. Okay, we got a Giga. Their turn radius is bad. Okay, here we go. We're gonna get lucky the first time. Nope, didn't get lucky, guys. So this happens all the time. Just gotta be calm, come back. Yep, here it comes. Here it comes. This is why I usually try to let it munch me a couple times, like right here at the trap. Now, this guy has insane range. You are going to want to run well around the trap, guys. You do not have a large window of time here, but you want to go way beyond. Now that should have been a metal trap, guys. I did not have one on me. As you can see, it can damage stone. It can damage stone. But I will say, of all the things that I have shown you here with Gigas, one, make sure that the area is cleared of dinos as best as possible so you do not lose aggro. Two, you're going to want to try to get this thing in this trap on your first go. Otherwise, your dino is going to take substantial damage. And three, once it is in the trap and the trap has activated, please be very careful. I have screwed this up many times before. Giga has insane radius on its attacks. Run or fly around at a very wide radius. Get behind it, put the gate up quickly, and get back. From there, if the ground is safe, you can just get on the ground. I recommend doing a Giga with at least 2 tribe mates. The reason for this is Gigas have an insane amount of torpor regeneration. If you miss your shots, the chances are you have just wasted your entire time of shooting it with torpor. It regenerates torpor in thousands per second, which is why having a second tribe mate is great, because you're both continuously shooting. Even if one of you lags, one of your guns jam, you are not going to have problems with the torpor ever regenerating. It will constantly be stacking. I hope you guys like this. We're going to be doing some more videos. I'll be doing water dinos. I will also be doing flying dinos. Coming back at you guys for more in this mini series. Take care, folks.